You're listening to the Plane Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carl Stebbings and Matt Smith.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 166 of the Plane Talking UK podcast. I'm Carl Stebbings, and joining me this week in the PTUK Garden Studio, he's back, he's not ill, it's my co-host Matt Smith.
Well, hello everyone.
Look, he's alive. I can poke him and everything, and he's not a hologram.
Get off. Hello,
everyone. Welcome back, Matt.
Yes, I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I was quite poorly in my defence.
Can I just say you didn't leave me in the lurch at all last week. I managed to string the whole show together without any issues.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised at how little editing I had to do. So I was actually quite proud of you.
Is that even with Al popping in halfway through the show?
The Al thing was just amusing. We just left it at that. It was fine. It was all good. But no, I am here. I am back. We're not quite at 100%. I'd say we're around about sort of 85%.
85?
Yeah.
I'd have said you were around about 90. But
all right. Okay. My apologies. 90 then, everyone.
90%.
But yes, I am a lot better than I was. And
he is.
Yes, absolutely. I can see straight and not hallucinating or anything now. It's great.
So it's the 26th of May. It's 8 minutes past 7 on this Friday evening. We're going to say a massive welcome to everyone who's joined us in the live YouTube chat room this evening. We've got Barbara Parish is in there. We've got, hold on, let me just bring up the list here. We've got Barbara Parish, Big Ron is in there, Don Sebastian, the pre-buy guy. We've got Eoin, he's in there.
Who?
Jen Niffer's in the chat room as well. Liz Piper, Micah's in the chat room. Mariana, Masha's in the chat room. Neville Bounds, he's in the chat room.
Who?
Nico Riga is in the chat room. We've also got Richard King and Tony S. And I think that's everyone. I don't think I've missed anyone out. There might be a few more people in the background
loads
somewhere.
Of people in there. Actually, while I remember, guys and girls, I just remember what a big friend of the show, the lovely Matty Fab. It's actually his birthday today.
His birthday
so
today.
Happy birthday to Matty Fab. Great news. Guest from from last week. Look, Craig is in the chat room as
Craig.
Well. Hello, Craig.
Good evening to you, Craig, or morning, or no, it's
Hi,
actually afternoon. It's good afternoon.
Yes, it's like
Craig
2 o'clock in the afternoon or something silly, isn't it?
It's
Come on, we ought to be pretty good at our 5-hour time difference things by now.
We have enough guests on from the US. So
yes, indeed.
Good evening, Jeff Braithwaite as well. He's just popped in the chat room there.
He was there earlier.
Was he there?
Yeah, you just missed him. It's fine.
I missed him. Okay. So we've got loads of stuff to get through in tonight's show. We've got loads of interesting news stories this week. We haven't got a segment from Pip. I did message Pip actually this afternoon.
No, he's been flying a lot this week.
He's been flying a lot.
Tell you that he's hopefully sorting something out for me next week. So
he's been flying a lot. So we haven't got a segment from Pip, but we have got a bit of listener feedback.
We have, yes.
Which is kind of an interview that was done at the Wings-Over-Illawarra air show with Matthew Bunting-Frame and Steve Visscher from the Plane Crazy Down Under podcast. So we've got that to play out a bit for you later.
Indeed.
We've got loads of content obviously that we got from Pittsburgh as well, which we're going to put out in the coming weeks. Matt's got to sit down and thread loads of bits and pieces together and get those all ready to broadcast to you. But we didn't get a chance to talk to you obviously because you weren't here last week.
No,
Matt,
I wasn't.
But,
no,
but we're not going to go into too much massive detail as to the Pitts visit.
That's what you think.
Because everyone knows we had a fantastic time at Pitts,
indeed,
but you didn't have a very nice time.
No.
On United, did you?
No, actually, to be fair, nothing to do with the cabin crew or anything like that.
Or the airline.
I just want to stress that the airline itself was fine. They were all really, really nice. But I have to be brutally honest with you. I flew out there on a 757-300. Now, I don't know whether it was because, obviously, those who were watching the footage and stuff know I was, sort of struggling a bit when I was in Pittsburgh, sort of health-wise. And I got to about 5.5 hours into the flight, and whilst I was busy walking through, because I was in row 8, because I was lucky, because I was in premium economy, obviously, and we flew, and I walked from there to the toilet and back, and after about 5.5 hours, I was almost fighting for breath, because I was just like struggling to sort of take a breath in that, and I was literally thinking at one point, is there something wrong with me? Do I need to actually like call for help here, and then just sort of took a couple of deep breaths, and it was all okay. Now you had a theory. You thought it might have had something to do with like the possible difference in cabin pressures.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't I didn't have any jet lag at all. I felt really. I felt fantastic.
It was two completely different experiences because I landed at Heathrow first.
You did.
And then I had to wait for you.
Yeah.
And like as he came, so I was waiting in arrivals as he came out of the arrivals hall, and it was like he and I had gone to two totally different places because I looked like death, and Carlos literally looked like he just sort of
had 15,000.
He looked like he just flown from
Lucozade.
Glasgow. You know, I mean, it was just like and he was all fine.
I think a lot of it boils down to, Matt, not just the fact that the aircraft you flew on was the size of a small child's toy, but it was down to obviously because the Dreamliner I flew home on was the Dash 9, which is the Dreamliner as well as the A350 are pressurised to a lot lower altitude than your normal standard airliner. So obviously your airline, I think without me getting this wrong, I hope I'm not wrong, Al, we need you here, but I think it's about 8,000 feet. I think that a standard pressurisation is of an aircraft, whereas the Dreamliner is a lot lower. I think it's 6,000 feet. I think they're pressurised too.
There's a couple of Jeff was actually saying in the chat room here, what do I suffer from asthma? Now, no is the short answer. I mean, I had very, very, very mild case of it when I was a kid, but I sort of grew out of it. So no, I've not had a sort of an asthma issue, if you like, to my knowledge, before now. It may have been because I was right in the midst of the whole flu thing, so the tight chest could have been a lot to do with that. But it just really knocked me off my feet. I was shocked at how bad I went, and yet ironic, the minute I got off the aircraft and then started walking like through the airport to my connection, I was absolutely fine. It was once I'd sort of got onto the marvellous air bridge and into the terminal building, it was great.
Actually, I was going to ask you, Matt, what? Because you obviously you're the same as me. You had to have a transfer.
I should just say sorry. We forgot. Hello, Owen. By the way, we do have a guest as well. Feel free to chip in.
Completely forgot to introduce our guest for tonight.
How rude.
Hey guys. I wasn't sure. Do you want me to stay quiet until I was introduced?
No. The thing of it is, Owen is part of the furniture.
Yeah, right. Yes, he's part of the family.
He's part of the family. Yeah,
absolutely.
So he's always here.
Yeah.
But no, we have got Owen on the show with us tonight to give us a hand.
Anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say because
he might have something to add to our conversation. And there he is, being well behaved.
He may well have been,
like all guests should be.
I had a transfer. I had a transfer from Toronto to Pittsburgh on a CRJ 200.
Oh, no, you see, I
my
loved
first
mine.
time, and it was niche, very very small, very compact. And I bumped my head when I got out from the seat.
Oh, okay.
It was quite small.
And maybe it's because I was in premium economy again. You see.
Oh, probably. Yeah. What was your transfer on, Matt? Was that
mine was on a little CRJ, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a CRJ, was
it? Something like that, wasn't it?
I don't know,
but it was a little.
How many seats
it was 2 and 2.
Oh, 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, CRJ.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, it was a beautiful flight.
Both flight was nice.
Both flights were really nice. I didn't have any breathing issues or anything like that. And again, I couldn't believe how quick it was. Like 35 minutes from because I was. Is it Washington Dulles? Dulles. I'm never quite
Washington
sure.
Dulles.
Dulles, yeah.
Yeah, Washington Dulles from there to Pitts and back. As I said, it was like 35 minutes there, and I think it was 40 minutes coming back to Washington Dulles from Pitts.
It's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, and I was amazed at how quick it was.
I was amazed, Matt, because you had the same duration of flight as I did from, or me and Adrian did from Toronto to Pitts, about half an hour, and they still managed to get a snack service done in that time.
They did, yes.
We had pretzels and tea, coffee, or water or juice.
We got water and some peanuts, and in answer to Mariana's question, will Matt ever fly again? To be honest with you, I had
He will do.
I've got no... I was fine. I was genuinely fine. I mean, I had a very small wobble where I was thinking, to be honest with you, I was thinking I wish my flying buddy was here right now because I'm really not sure about this. As I was trying to get on the aeroplane, there was this small moment, and to be fair to the United staff, and I'm really not... The only minor issues I had really weren't anything to do with the United and or the staff again, but it was just like they were brilliant because I sort of somebody obviously just clocked that I looked like, because I'd gone white as a sheet and looked like really nervous and stuff, and they just went, "Or are you all right?" And I said, "I'm a very nervous flyer, if you like," and then they were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. That doesn't mean that they still...
No.
I mean, they did sort of forget to feed me, so they weren't that worried about me. But because I went to the toilet at the wrong time, basically, and breakfast had already been served by the time I came back, and they forgot about me. But you see, and I think a lot of that is because the trouble is that I've not done much transatlantic flying, so I'm not familiar with the protocol. I mean, you probably knew that they were going to serve you within 45 minutes of getting over the air, and I'm just sort of like, right, okay, I'm going to go to the loo now. And then I came back and like breakfast had already been. I mean, they boshed out all these meals and everything. It was all done and dusted. And then she came to collect the tray and went, "Oh, did you not get one?" It's like, no. Have we had breakfast? And she went, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." So they bought me this sort of lukewarm waffle, and that was weird. I don't do savoury and sweet mixed together very well.
Lukewarm waffle. Is that better or worse than a lukewarm panini?
Worse than a lukewarm
Worse.
penny. Oh yes.
Oh
no. You see, I'm a fan of Harp-Jet's paninis. I have to be brutally honest, because they are my snack of choice. I just wish they didn't take 3/4 of an hour to bring to you. But anyway, we'll gloss over that.
Let's gloss over that.
Yeah, indeed. We'll move on.
We'll move on.
Okay.
We need to get on because before the sun goes. The sun is literally over there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's going to go dark here soon, and we're outside, so maybe we should crack on. Yeah.
So we are going to start the show then.
Yeah. Short answer, Jeff, is no. I think it was just me. I think a lot of it was to do the fact that I was genuinely quite poorly, and certainly nobody else on the flight had issues. I don't think Nev didn't have it because he flew to Toronto and then drove, didn't he? With the lovely Liz.
He flew with Ba.
He flew with Ba to Toronto. Ba. You certainly didn't have any problems, did you?
Oh no. They spoiled me very much.
Indeed.
Good old Air Canada.
Yeah, Mariana might well be right here. It could also been a small part of the whole sort of being a bit panicky and all that kind of thing. But I mean, funnily enough, once I'm up in the air, I'm normally all right.
Can I just point out one massive fact that you've failed to mention?
Oh dear.
The fact that I was on a reasonably new aircraft, both ways,
yes,
including an aircraft on the way home that was 3 months old. No, actually, no, it was 2 months old. Sorry.
Okay.
The aircraft I flew home on, the Dreamliner, and on both the 777 I flew over
you were quite disappointed,
and
with
the Dreamliner I flew back on, didn't have Wi-Fi.
Did it not? Oh no, I had Wi-Fi. I was pinging messages to me. You got 2 hours free Wi-Fi.
Yes, because I got messages from you, Matt.
Absolutely.
So did I when I landed and had Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And actually, one last thing, and then I will let you get on with the show. I might let you actually do the show. Why not? But one last thing is actually I know from last week's show when I was editing it, you were quite disappointed with the film and music choices that were available to you and TV programs.
Yeah, I shan't go over it again in great detail.
No.
Needless to say, I wasn't impressed with the amount of content that.
And yet, with me, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't have hundreds and hundreds of films, but I mean, I think I counted on the way out there. I had 80 films to choose from and about 60 films to choose from coming home. The selection was different coming home than going out.
About 50 more than we had.
Okay. And but there was no music as such. There were some podcasts on there, none of which I recognised.
No, they were rubbish.
Not even Airplane Geeks was on there. I mean, come on. Come on. I suppose on
that's almost blasphemous.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Absolutely. Barbara was saying I flew with BA, great service, lovely cabin crew. I had a great long chat with them. They just love their job.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Oh yes, of course, because Owen has a little
BA
confession to
man.
make.
Yes.
Owen
is flying BA this afternoon.
Yes.
Coming back from Malaga,
that's why he's wearing
a well-deserved holiday.
Yes, indeed.
To Malaga and flew back BA. Not particularly for any particular reason other than it was cheaper.
Really?
Owen is son of Nev.
Indeed, son of yes. It's the prodigy. Nev will be so proud right now. He will be beaming with pride.
When they bring down their prices a little bit more on most of the other routes, I'll definitely be flying with them again.
Okay, right.
Very true.
And also when they up their on-time rating. Now I have to say this was the first time that this is the first time that I've flown with them that they've actually been on time.
Okay,
which out of the 4 or 5 times that I've flown with them is not an amazing record.
Great.
But
okay, all right, fair enough. Happy days. Like I say, you can tell he's been flying BA. Look, he's got a smart.
He's got a smart shirt
I know,
on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's putting us both to shame. I should stress.
Right, so we are going to start the show then, as we do each week, with our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you're ready, guest Eoin.
Guest Eoin?
Yes, he's a guest.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right.
I'm ready.
Good. And are you ready? Not poorly, Matt.
I'm never ready.
All right, let's go. So, kicking off this week's first news story, this is on the suns.co.uk website, and a story that has kind of kicked off this morning.
Yes.
Well, it actually came online at 7:45 this morning. And the headline, Bank Holiday, because as most of you all know, there is Bank Holiday here in the UK. Bank Holiday weekend starts tomorrow, I suppose you could call it, really, couldn't I suppose? So Bank Holiday travel chaos as Gatwick Airport hit with baggage meltdown. And also the M62 suffers miles of tailbacks. Trains warned to slow down because it's too hot. And 16.5 million cars
only in the
expected
UK
on the roads. So with temperatures that are set to rocket to 30 degrees Celsius in some parts of Britain tomorrow, being Saturday, Bank Holiday chaos struck earlier today as a huge motorway crash sparked the 6-hour delays and thousands of Gatwick Airport passengers who were hit by a baggage meltdown. So motorists, they were caught up in a 15-mile tailback following the 7-vehicle pile-up on the M62 near Goole in East Yorkshire. And early today, on top to add to that chaos, thousands of passengers at Gatwick faced huge delays when the baggage sorting system crashed. Probably had the blue screen of death, Matt, I would imagine.
I saw a lot of those going through various airports.
So did I, actually, funnily enough. Yeah, I saw one at Toronto. And it's expected to get worse as 16.5 million drivers will clog up the roads over the scorching 3-day weekender. So the RAC says leisure and commuter traffic could merge and cause bumper-to-bumper congestion during the busiest bank holiday May in 4 years. Now, this is obviously one of the main routes that people go to get to a lot of the major airports here in the UK. So holidaymakers earlier today were forced to fly without luggage, and some even missed their flights because of the long queues triggered by the technical fault at Gatwick Airport. And airport staff are trying to reunite thousands of passengers with their luggage after the problem was finally fixed at around midday today. The issue was with the conveyor belt that scans and sorts the bags before they are loaded onto the aircraft. Airport staff had to process each bag manually, which left rows of suitcases in the terminal. Passenger Chris Cox told The Independent all the baggage belts have broken and they are hand-checking in flight by flight. Simon Ginsberg told Twitter, or he took to Twitter to say his anniversary trip to Morocco had been ruined by the chaos. So he wrote that he's just been told that his bags were not on the plane, now travelling to Marrakesh, which was a bit ridiculous. And this added to the fact that he had antibiotics in his luggage as well, so no medication. Great work, he added. Matt put the pictures up on the screen just a minute ago, showing the pictures of long queues and at the check-in desks, and huge backlogs of bags waiting to be processed.
Yes, I only showed those pictures. There was, for some reason, there was a random picture of a topless lady in there.
Oh, right, okay.
Which I didn't put up, I'm afraid. I didn't think that was perhaps particularly child-friendly.
So, passenger Nicholas Reyners, 33, who was travelling with 15 pals to San Sebastian in Spain for a stag party, blasted the airport as shambles. He told the Mail Online the computer systems are offline, so you can't do bag drops. It's all manual check-in, and they're struggling to cope. They could be forced to fly to Bilbao, 60 miles away. Wow.
I have a small issue with this. The thing is
what, the blue screen of death?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you do get computer problems. All right, it always seems to happen. I suppose things will always go wrong when the airports are at capacity or they're struggling the most. But at the end of the day, I mean, the computer systems are there purely and simply because it isn't possible to do a manual bag check for the amount of people now that are going through the airport. So, they're doing the very best they can. I know it's really inconvenient.
But at a major international airport, and one of the is it the second largest airport in the
London,
UK?
Gatwick,
there should be some sort of redundancy systems in place to handle this sort of error. So they should be on two separate systems. No, that's possible, right?
Yeah, it should be. It should be a backup.
It depends on where. Again, with sort of mainframes and servers and things, the long and the short of it depends on which bit of the system went down. So you might have, for example, two servers, if you like. So you've got one server, or they might have the server in a RAID configuration or something like that. That's fine. But if you get you still. It depends on what went wrong, because if it was the link between the servers and basically the routers, if it was that part of the system that fell down, you won't necessarily have any redundancy in there. And if you can't immediately lay your hands on spare routers, I'm using routers as an example. I mean, you're probably looking at sort of Cisco switches and all sorts. But if it's the actual physical link between check-in and where the data is sort of plugged in, it's very difficult to build you can build redundancy in, but well, I don't know. I don't know.
Something as large as what that is, checking in so many, hundreds of thousands of bags in a day. That's got to be one heck of a system to cope with all that amount of work.
Well, I know.
Yeah. Actually, the story does actually say here that last year Gatwick South Terminal unveiled an 186 million pound state-of-the-art terminal link, including a new baggage handling system.
Yeah.
Gatwick did say that some flights were leaving without all bags, and says the issue, like I said, has been fixed at midday today. And they obviously apologise for any inconvenience to passengers.
Meanwhile, at Nevtech HQ...
we had nice to see Nev's enjoying himself.
Yes, things are developing well at Nevtech HQ. It sounds like he's finally finished work.
So the next story, as always, is a nice story for Matt, Beans. I'm breaking you in gently, Beans. It's your first day back on the job.
I missed one, Carlos. You make it sound like I've been away for ages.
It feels like it.
Excuse me.
God,
right.
Okay. I spoke that one.
Yeah,
up.
you see, that's your own fault. That's your own.
Spoke too soon.
Yeah, indeed. So anyway, on the independent.ie, so it's the Irish Independent. The headline is therefore, if it's the Irish Independent, I wonder what story number 2 might be about. It is Ryanair is to sell long haul flights with Air. I didn't even know they had a long haul flight section. Anyway, Ryanair to sell off long haul flights with Air. No, hang on. Is to sell. Smith,
come
read.
on, read.
Look, I've forgotten how to read. All right. Okay.
Read and write.
Let me start.
Blimey.
You finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Ryanair to sell long haul flights with Air Europa. This is very interesting. Ryanair has announced a new flight partnership with Spanish airline Air Europa, which will allow its 130 million customers to book Air Europa long-haul flights on the Ryanair website. From today, customers can browse and book with Air Europa flights on 20 long-haul routes from Madrid to 16 countries in North, Central and South America, including Argentina, Brazil, Cuba, Mexico and the United States. Where was this a few weeks back? The new partnership is the latest initiative delivered under the Always Getting Better customer experience program, and follows the launch of its connecting flight service via Rome Fiumicino last week. The second phase of this Air Europa partnership will be launched later this year and will allow Ryanair customers to connect to Air Europa long-haul flights through Madrid. Ryanair is continuing in its discussions with a number of other long-haul airlines on potential feed and connecting flight partnerships. We are pleased to announce this exciting partnership with Air Europa, which allows our customers to browse and book flights on 20 long-haul routes from Madrid to cities in Argentina, Brazil, Cuba, Mexico and the USA. On the Ryanair website, Michael O'Leary, CEO of Ryanair, said, do you really have to ever say CEO of Ryanair when you hear the name Michael O'Leary? Everybody must know that man is A legend, and B, just because he's brilliant. He's so unpolitically correct and yet genius all at once. I mean, he's I tip my cap to you, sir. You are a ledge. But this is actually quite exciting news. I mean, it's a bit like the grown-up version of what is it KLM tried to do with us at Norwich, where you fly from Norwich to Schiphol, and then you get to sort of fly from Schiphol to anywhere else in the world.
That's true.
I mean, that's kind of the model they're trying to work, only without ripping people off, which I think is very exciting.
No, basically, so you can go on their website and you can book a flight to the States, and you obviously fly from here to, is it Shannon or in Ireland with Ryanair, and then from there from Ireland to the States with Air Europa or wherever to.
Yeah.
But Air Europa,
I'm just looking at it now, and it looks like they have introduced some new destinations. So you've got let's see, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, sorry, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Ecuador.
Oh, wow.
All of these
some
are
great
now
great destinations,
including Boston, Miami, and New York.
Hello. New York would be handy. I'm going to New York.
For those in the chat room who are not sure and haven't heard of Air Europa, Air Europa were formed in where are we? Here we go. I'm just going to click on the Wikipedia thing. Yeah, there we go. 1986, Air Europa were formed.
Ooh.
And they've got 53 aircraft in the fleet, fly to 44 destinations, and they are the third biggest airline in Spain after Iberia and Vueling. So there we go. Bit of information on Air Europa.
It's a full service here, you know.
I know. We're on form today. Yes. So the next story is for you, Eoin.
The next story is from foxnews.com/travel, and this says planes collide at Austin Airport after United aircraft clips American. If two planes should ever collide, it's usually better it happens on the ground, like the aircrafts that clipped each other at Austin Bergstrom International Airport on Wednesday night. According to airport officials, the wingtip from United Flight 898 came into contact with the tail section of American Airlines Flight 2675 shortly after 8:20 p.m., just as the United flight was taxiing away from its gate. A United passenger who spoke with Key, I'd imagine they're a media organisation, added that United took immediate responsibility for the collision. The pilot took full responsibility, explained Cody Strickland. He said, "This is your captain. We clipped the wing of this other aircraft. It was my fault. We're going to do the best we can to get you back to the gate." Airport officials were then forced to wait for an OK from the FAA before they could give the two pilots clearance to taxi back to the gate. Strickland says it took 2 hours before his flight was allowed to deplane, at which point passengers were left to wait for another flight to Houston. No one was hurt during the collision, but audio recordings from air traffic control suggest the American Airlines flight, which has just arrived in Austin from JFK in New York City, suffered minor damage. "There's a chunk of something laying off your tail, but the APU is running just fine," an air traffic official
well, that's all right then.
can be heard remarking in an audio recording obtained by Kaxan or Kazan.
Look, dude, you're here because of your ability to pronounce things correctly. Don't look at either of us for help, mate. You're on your own.
There's no leaks of smoke. Photos shared by one of American Airlines passengers also show slight damage to the wingtip of the United's aircraft. And it doesn't look like as bad damage as we've seen on other.
No, I was just looking at the pictures there while you were telling the story there, Owen.
Yeah. Struggling to bring them up because they're on Twitter, so it's a bit difficult for me to.
The picture on here, the United aircraft in question has the split scimitar winglets on there, and the top of the winglet is a little bit.
It's got a scuff on it, hasn't it? I've just popped it up there, so it's, So the source is Christina KB is where this photo has come from. I mean, it's not awful. I mean, does that have much impact on
winglets? That would definitely,
yeah. Winglets obviously they help to help with the fuel efficiency of aircraft,
Right,
the
okay.
wings and airflow. And obviously, with this being a bit jagged,
Okay.
it might sort of it will need replacing anyway. But these, I've seen these replaced on a video on an aviation site, and the winglets that they replace, because this does happen, not all the time, but it does happen every now and again.
More than you think.
And it's a relatively easy, non sort of lengthy thing to change a wingtip.
It's costly though.
It's costly,
yes,
It's
very,
going to
very
cost
costly.
a few quid.
So how long will an aircraft be out of action for while they put that right?
I'd have to guess it'd probably be a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. I'd
I
imagine.
would say less, to be honest.
I mean,
with
but
you.
does it have to go like on a test flight or something just to make sure?
They do actually. Yeah, they do have to test a flight after anything like that. They do, but I mean, United have got such a huge fleet anyway. This will be back on the run.
Yes, that's why they've still got hundreds of 757-300s.
What I like about this story is the fact that the pilot actually said, sorry, it was me.
Oops.
I'm sorry, all my fault. Awfully sorry.
Liz has just put Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Winglet.
Yes, yeah, very
That's
true.
nice.
Yes,
indeed. Truly a split.
But obviously the pilots both got out and swapped insurance details and stuff.
Swapped insurance details. Is that how it works?
No.
Okay, good.
But it's nice to think so.
Yes, splendid.
So the next story, moving on, is another exciting story from Flight Global.
Sorry, Lane says, that'll buff out.
That'll buff out.
Yeah, bit of spit and polish. It'll be fine.
A bit of tea cut. Yes, tea cut and
it'll be
turtle
fine.
wax.
It'll be fine. Anyway, you can carry on. Now. Sorry.
Carry on. Yeah. So Flight Global, the sun's starting to go down now.
Yes. Really.
Flight Global.
That happens,
And,
like at night time.
I know.
Yeah, it is like 20 to 8 in the evening. I'm
True.
amazed we aren't having to put coats on yet. I'm not going to lie.
So picture story, this one as well. Matt will put the pictures on the screen. This one is
Look
on
busy,
Flight
everyone.
Global.
Yeah.
And Delta's first A350 takes flight. So Delta Airlines, their first Airbus A350-900. Pardon me, the beer is repeating on me. Made its maiden sortie today.
Oh, no. Isn't this one of the ones that we saw when we were at Toulouse?
This is definitely one of the ones we saw, because this particular one was pointed out to us during one of the tours.
Oh, was it? Oh, I missed that bit. Oh.
So it made its Matt was asleep. It made its maiden sortie today, flying for 5 hours and 37 minutes off the coast of France. The aircraft MSN 115 and registration. Yes, and registration November.
Isn't that
5.
a news outlet?
No, it's not. For God's sake, man. Registration November 501 Delta November.
You can tell I'm back, everyone. We're fighting.
Yeah, Toulouse. At 10:24 local time.
How was it last week without me? Was it lovely?
Was a lot quieter. So Delta plans to take delivery of the A350 in July, with its schedule to enter revenue service. There's a picture. In October, executives have said. The Atlanta-based carrier will be the first US carrier to operate the A350
I was too busy mucking about.
With American Air. You wait till you get to your next story.
Oh, no.
Not taking its first of the type until 2020. And United Airlines evaluating whether to keep its order for A350-1000s. Delta will use the A350 to replace its last 6 Boeing 747-400s on flights to Asia. The aircraft will initially be based at its Detroit hub. The airline will configure its A350s with 306 seats, including 32 in business class, 48 in premium economy. Matt will know all about that, premium.
Yeah!
And 226 in economy. Delta deferred 10 of the 25 A350-900s it had on order earlier in May, citing weak long-haul demand. Delta will now take its first 15 aircraft through 2019, with its remaining 2019 and 2020 deliveries deferred to at least 2022. They've obviously got to save up a few dollars before they can buy the rest of them.
Oh dear.
Interesting to see though when you look at the pictures though, because obviously aircraft don't get built and roll straight off the production line with the colours that the airline they're in. So obviously this is in the marvellous primer colour.
Yes, the dull sort of like gold vomit colour.
Yeah, exactly, goldy colour. Yeah. But no, it's good news for Delta anyway, having to see the Airbus A350.
Yes. And as Owen quite rightly pointed out, although I missed it, although I do remember seeing it, but I don't remember them pointing it out on the bus. But yes, when we had a little bus tour, we did actually see it, because it was more or less completing. I think
finishing up getting built.
Yeah, absolutely. They more or less finished.
So next story is...
It's very sad that the 747-400
it is very
leaving,
sad,
though.
So sad.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's anything like the 757, I can't wait for the bloody thing to go into service. But anyway.
So next story,
no, ladies and gentlemen, I now have an aeroplane I actually hate. This is very exciting.
This is news.
Owen, I hate you. Anyway,
so next story, moving on.
Okay, I don't know if I want to play anymore. I've had enough. I feel poorly. I'm going home.
Carry on, because this story is funny.
Is it?
In for you now.
Okay. Right, so this is on the news.com.au, which is it's Australian news, I presume. The worker still attached to the plane as it taxis. A ground worker at NSW Airport got the fright of his life when a Jetstar plane he was working on started its engines and began to taxi with the workers still attached. The A320, which was given the clear to begin taxiing on the runway at Newcastle Airport on the 25th of January, released its brakes and increased its power while the dispatcher, who was still connected to the aircraft's nose, was waiting clearance to disconnect. A report from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau says the worker noticed that the taxi lights illuminated, heard the engine noise increase and watched the aircraft start to taxi before quickly disconnecting the headset and moving away from the aircraft, presumably at breakneck speeds. In its report, the ATSB says that the dispatcher, who was linked by a headset to pilots through the nose of the plane, was walking next to the aircraft as it was pushed back from the airport's terminal. After the pushback, the Jetstar pilot's attention was diverted to monitoring a plane in a neighbouring bay that had requested clearance to taxi to the runway. However, the pilot didn't believe that there was enough room for the other aircraft to turn around, and the A320 was given permission to move first, the report says. The Bureau found that the pilot checked the surroundings and sighted a tug and a dispatcher near the A320 bay, mistaking that dispatcher, who had disconnected from the neighbouring plane, for their own. They assumed that the dispatcher near Bay 4 was their dispatcher, who had disconnected from the aircraft while they were monitoring the Bay 5 aircraft movements and radio communications, the report said. Believing to be in the all clear, the A320 then began to taxi, with the worker becoming alarmed and immediately disconnecting and moving to safety. Well done, him or her. The incident has been called serious by the ATSB, but the Bureau also found that the flight crew on board the A320 were distracted by the neighbouring plane. A Jetstar spokesman said that the airline has comprehensive checklists which crew are required to follow. Our pilots believed ground crew working on a nearby aircraft were assisting with the dispatching of that aircraft, which was not the case, the spokesman said in a statement. We have reminded all of our flight crew of the importance of following checklists and procedures, as well as distraction management. Anybody have anything to say about this particularly scary story?
Yeah, apart from my chat room thing going on.
What?
No, my chat room thing is putting. For some reason I typed a sentence and it's muddled it all up. So well done, YouTube chat room.
Indeed. Okay.
No, I'm actually surprised his headphone lead didn't. I've seen this happen before actually on at an airport not too far away from here, actually at Norwich many years ago, where someone, because it's a headset you have connected to the aircraft, so the ground person, marshaller, can talk to the flight crew while he's marshalling the aircraft.
Is that not all done by radio?
No, it's still done by a lead plugged in, but it's an incredibly long lead.
I should hope so. Yes.
But yeah, the story sort of, when I first read this, I thought, oh my God, the guy got like dragged along by this aircraft.
Oh,
but,
my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, after the lead stretched so far, it would have pinged out anyway. So, but a bit of a worrying one. But carry on, Owen, you were going to say.
Yeah, no, I think they were just distracted by the Boeing next to them.
That's very true,
That's
Owen.
probably what it was.
My God,
They were looking across at the Boeing and saying, God, look at that sexy aircraft there. That's
my God, Carlos, what on earth? Excuse me, Airbus all the way. I flew on a 757-300. Did I mention I didn't enjoy it?
Well, what it was, the flight crew were on the flight deck, obviously in this Airbus. They looked across and
they were a bit bored.
Saw this Boeing and thought, wow, that is one heck of an aircraft. Had to drop that one in there. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've officially lost control of the show.
Oh dear. So anyway, moving on to the next story, Mr.
Do we have stories?
Mr. Owen.
Oh.
Yeah, we do have stories.
Is this for me?
Yeah, this one is for you.
Equally, if not more insane.
Bizarre. I know.
And it's a headline. This is from scmp.com, which is the South China Morning Post international section. To boldly go. Chinese aircraft cleaners retrieved the $44,000 diamond ring dropped in a toilet. Workers climbed into empty tank and waded barefoot through pond waste to recover a 2-carat jewel. A Chinese air passenger has discovered that diamonds really are forever after recovering his 2-carat ring that was accidentally flushed down a toilet, mainland media reported. The man from Huzhou is... Oh, man. Carlos, really? Huzhou in the Zhejiang province dropped...
I thought you'd be okay with this story, Owen.
I'm Japanese, not Chinese.
Yeah. See?
Sorry.
Welcome to my world, Owen.
Anyway, carry on.
It dropped the $43,700 diamond ring down the toilet bowl of a Qatar Airways flight from Doha to Hangzhou earlier this week. After the plane landed at Hangzhou Zhoushan International Airport,
Stunning.
The
Well
flight
done.
crew members assisted the man in contacting the cleaning department at the airport's ground services company. 2 cleaning staff pumped the wastewater from the aircraft into the tank of a sewage truck before discharging it into an open space. The dedicated crew walked barefoot through the released wastewater in search of the ring. Later, they even had to examine the inside of the sewage tank itself. The ring was finally recovered after an hour-long search, and both staff members later reported feeling queasy despite taking long showers after the search.
I'm not at all surprised. Yummy.
Yeah,
Yes.
quite queasy.
Yes.
After crouching down, we put our hands on the ground to get inside the sewage tank. Cleaner Wang Shuan later recounted to the reporters, one hand holding a phone as a flashlight and the other hand on the ground. Oh my good God.
I can tell you one thing, if I was doing that, that would not be my phone that was being used as a torch.
No. Firefighters... Oh, no, sorry. That's a different headline entirely. But the referees were rewarded, and the passenger repeatedly thanked them for finding the ring.
I should bloody well hope so. And paid them £1 million. Like, my goodness me.
The report did not say if they shook their hands.
I would hope...
or a high five. A high five at the end.
No. Bad children. Behave immediately, honestly. I think, to be honest with you, I think I would rather buy them a new ring than actually go looking for that ring in the
Really?
Yeah.
So you have $44,000 laying around?
Bring me a copy. Of course he does.
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
Quite right. But I don't know. I don't know if £44,000 is enough money to make me get into a toilet.
It kind of makes you wonder why the ring ended up in the aircraft toilet to begin with, really.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
mile high and all that. Moving on.
The next story.
Okay.
The next story is another interesting story. This one's on the travelweekly.co.uk
boy, are we
website.
Literally? It's the work. I mean, it's not been a good week for the UK. Let's be honest, obviously, and our thoughts do go out. I know we haven't mentioned it at the top of the show. We probably should have done, but our thoughts do go out to everyone in Manchester and with that awful thing.
For any of our Manchester listeners,
absolutely. I can promise you, over the last 2 or 3 days, I've done crying. I've done all sorts of things, thinking of you all for what is an awful tragedy. But that's all we're going to say on it, really. So but moving on. But the world seems to have gone crazy this week.
So the story then on travelweekly.co.uk site, and the headline: drunk passenger who started a fire on a Monarch aircraft has jail term doubled. So a drunken airline passenger who started a fire at 33,000 feet by discarding a burning cigarette had his jail sentence more than doubled yesterday to 9.5 years. Former soldier John Cox, 46, threw the cigarette butt into a toilet bin when on a Monarch flight from Birmingham to Sharm el Sheikh in August, and this was back in 2015, so it took a while to come out to the press this one. An hour earlier, panic had broken out on the aircraft when there was a similar unrelated toilet blaze. The Court of Appeal in London was told. Cabin crew had already used up 2 of the 4 extinguishers on board, and additional water fighting for the first fire, Lady Justice Sharp said. The pilot feared the crew would be unable to quell the second blaze started by Cox if it took hold. After calling a mayday, he had to put the aircraft into a sharp descent to stage an emergency landing. By luck, a fire safety expert who was on board the aircraft helped crew members tackle the fire and bring it under control, the Times reported. Cox was belligerent, aggressive, and when confronted, pleaded guilty to reckless arson at Birmingham Crown Court in March this year. Cox of Kidderminster was originally jailed for 4.5 years. However, the sentence was challenged in the Court of Appeal, where the Solicitor General Robert Buckland QC criticised the punishment as far too lenient. Lady Justice Sharp agreed and increased the term. The potential for causing disaster here was plain and obvious, she told the court. The sentence passed was unduly lenient, and his offence called for a deterrent sentence and punishment, or harsher punishment. Cox, a hard-working family man of previous good character, was under stress at the time due to the breakup of his marriage, and he'd worked for Royal Mail and served 9 years in the army. He'd started drinking at the airport departure lounge and kept topping up while in the air. He didn't intend to start a fire, but the judges said that throwing a cigarette into the bin at 33,000 feet came very close to deliberate fire setting. Several of the crew reported being traumatised, and witnesses spoke of the crew weeping and screaming of adults and children. One passenger described the incident as absolutely terrifying. Everyone was panicking. When I think about it now, I feel sick. Francis Fitzgibbon, QC, chairman of the Criminal Bar Association, said that the revised sentence was exactly in line with guidance. So there we go. To be, first off, you shouldn't be smoking anyway on board an aircraft, as
especially not
Owen
nowadays.
would know.
Yeah.
And secondly, if you did wish to have a cigarette in the toilet, in an aircraft toilet, you don't put you don't even do it and begin with anyway. Plus all
don't do it, Gimmet. And if you do, there's ashtrays there for that particular reason, so that fires don't break out. But it is very, very reckless to be smoking on an aircraft, because as many pilots on various other shows, APG and a few of the podcasters saying, fire is the one thing that really gets them quite scared in terms of emergencies.
Absolutely. Sort of lots of little things. I mean, you can tolerate things like engine failures and all sorts, can't you? But the minute you mention the word fire and there's a fire on board, I mean that's a whole different kettle of fish. It's very difficult to as you say, gain control of something as extreme as that.
Obviously, the airline that you fly for, Owen, Harpjet, you're carrying sort of young people a lot and stag parties and stuff like that.
Is it really that much? Do
you ever have an issue with people wishing to have cigarettes while they're flying, if be it in the toilets?
I know a lot of my colleagues have. I personally haven't, thankfully.
That's because you're very strict.
Want to. But no, a lot of people, there have been a lot of my colleagues who have had a case, and all of them have called the police on arrival, and they've been taken off the aircraft in handcuffs, and not very nice sentences.
No, I can imagine. Well, and with good reason. I mean, I get really cross with stuff like this. It's just like, we all have things that we're either addicted to or what. I mean, look at the size of me. Mine's chocolate. But it's just like, if you're on an aircraft and you're a smoker, you know that you can't smoke on an aeroplane. It doesn't matter how much you want a cigarette. You know that that's not something you can do. You've just got, all right, don't get me wrong, make sure you're first off the plane, down those air stairs and away. But it's just like,
But I mean, even then, I mean, I've had a few people smoke on, or try to smoke on the ramp.
Right.
And that's equally as dangerous, because you've got refueling aircraft everywhere.
Yeah. In fact, it's most dangerous. You could almost argue
on an aircraft, probably, yeah.
And there is that smell in the air, isn't there, when you do sort of get off the ramp, especially while they're refueling.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hello, what's tickled your fancy there, Carlos?
No, I was just reading Mariana's put a really good point in the chat room that obviously aircraft do have incredibly sensitive smoke detectors in the areas such as the toilets.
Yes, they do, and even things like hairspray, deodorant, things like that can sometimes
can set them off.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very, very sensitive.
I mean, you know, sort of respect almost to the passenger for wanting to go and spray his deodorant in the toilet so he doesn't sort of asphyxiate everyone around him. But
spray enough of it and you will set it off. Yeah.
Do you know? I can honestly remember years and years ago when I was a bit of a youngster.
Well, in the 1900s.
I can still remember. When smoking was allowed on aircraft.
No, I can just remember it. Yeah. But it was only at the back.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was at the back. Yeah.
I can still remember those days.
Which is slightly pointless, no? I mean, you're using recycled air.
I don't know. Maybe it was near the re-intake, perhaps before it got filtered and stuff. Perhaps.
I've never smoked. I'm not a huge fan of smoke and stuff like that. I never have smoked. No, I just it's all vape nowadays. I think everyone I know who smokes vapes everywhere. So.
And the vaping so much isn't the problem for me personally, but
because some of those smell really nice.
But yeah, I know. But of course, there are issues with because we're talking about silly little nickel hydride batteries again, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
And there are issues with the batteries in some of these machines actually becoming an immediate fire hazard. You know.
Well, they have to be switched off in aircraft. Anyways, so you can't use those on the aircraft either.
No.
So moving on to the next story, Matt, this one is for you.
Indeed, this is on the Irish Examiner, and the headline is "Newest Aer Lingus aircraft takes to the skies for." I've pressed the wrong button, haven't I? Sorry, wrong camera, ladies and gentlemen. We'll put the right camera on and start again. The Irish Examiner. Look, I've had a week off. I've forgotten how it all works. It's the newest Aer Lingus. Do you want to sit in this seat?
No, not particularly. I've done that last week. It's all yours now.
The newest Aer Lingus aircraft. Stop it. Okay. The newest Aer Lingus aircraft takes to the skies for maiden voyage on to New York City. Aer Lingus will fly its newest aircraft, a 313-seater Airbus A330-300, on its maiden voyage from Dublin to New York City today. The aircraft, named St. Carthage, is that right?
Yeah,
St. Carthage,
correct,
after a 6th century Irish bishop, cost in excess of $200 million. It's put there, but I'd have okay. Anyway, it says dollars. I was kind of expecting euros. Anyway, Aer Lingus now has a fleet of 63 aircraft, of which 15 will service its long-haul network. The airline will operate its largest ever transatlantic schedule this summer, flying to 11 North American destinations with a total of 2.5 million transatlantic seats on offer, including a new direct service to Miami from Dublin starting in September. The new route, Miami, joins Aer Lingus' existing transatlantic routes Boston, Chicago, New York, Orlando, San Francisco, Washington and Toronto from Dublin, and Boston and New York from Shannon, as well as Los Angeles, Newark and Hartford. Aer Lingus has acknowledged that the Norwegian Air and Wow Air will provide stiff competition, especially in Cork and Shannon airports. Norwegian will make history in July when a transatlantic flight will take off from Cork Airport for the first time. It will fly to T.F. Green Airport in Providence, Rhode Island, an hour's drive from Boston in Massachusetts. Norwegian boss Bjorn Chaos insists low-cost, long-haul flights are sustainable as long as passenger demand is there. Well, that's a very exciting story, isn't it? It's a nice-looking aircraft, actually, isn't it?
The A330, yeah.
Did I mention I like Airbus? I don't know if that came up.
Captain Al Did
I mention that I don't like the 757-300? I don't know. Did that come up at all?
Hey now.
What I think is nice about this as well, Aer Lingus still name their aircraft. Not many airlines do that.
Yeah.
Still. They name their aircraft.
I saw their St. Aoife, I think, in Malaga this morning.
I think it's nice because BA always used to name all their aircraft. I remember that they still do name their aircraft as well. I think it's nice when aircraft have names
I've got a question for
registrations.
you geeks out there. Please answer this question for me. Julian's just asked an interesting question, which I don't.
What's Julian asked?
He's asked the question: do operators buy or lease their aircraft, considering prices and fleet sizes?
It's a big difference. It's a big half and half. I think
do they buy them?
You'd be surprised at how many big major airlines
but would someone
rent and lease their aircraft.
Heartjet included.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah, okay. Oh, right. So they own their fleet essentially.
Yeah,
we
it's kind of like when
don't
you lease a
own
car.
all of the fleet that they have, but they own a very, very large portion of them. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And the only way you'll know is on the inside of the cockpit. There's a little plate that says leased from and operated by.
I see. Right, okay.
Yeah.
But it's hidden really quietly. So
it's very
Amir is
difficult.
actually saying Emirates has mostly leased aircraft. Now, you'd have thought
Yeah.
Emirates being such a big airline,
yeah.
a big airline, one of the big players.
See, leasing is not a bad idea. When it's like if you go.
I think it's a great idea if it's a new aircraft.
But
just trying to work out, someone else can worry about the bugs that you pick up on the way.
But it's the same as if you have a car. If you lease a car and anything goes wrong with it, you just take it back to the manufacturer and say, look, that's wrong. And they give you a new one.
Yeah.
So it's a similar kind of thing with aircraft. If you lease
if I could afford one, I'd have a leased car. I can tell you that.
Whereas if you go and buy a car and in 2 years down the line it breaks, the company will say, well, fix it then.
And then you've got different types of lease. So you've got your dry lease, your wet lease, and you've got a thing called a damp lease, which is something that Aer Lingus use quite a bit.
This is just making me thirsty.
Perhaps this is if Don Sebastian, the pre-buy guy, is still in the chat room. Don should do a story in the next episode of the Airplane Intel podcast, all about leasing and the difference between leasing and buying outright an aircraft. There we go, Don.
Or if he's feeling really generous, he could do one for our show.
Yeah, he could do one for us. Yeah, do a segment for this show.
Yeah, go on.
So moving on.
I know in Ireland there are a few really, really big aircraft leasing, and I think it has to do with taxes or something. But I think Ireland is in the top 5 of countries that have the biggest aircraft leasing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next story. I think this one is with you, Eoin, I think, isn't it?
This is me, and I am in the complete wrong browser.
Splendid. Good. Excellent.
Hold on now. Okay, so we are at the businessinsider.com UK version, and this says this is the cheapest private jet in the world, and it's a true game changer.
I like this, Matt.
It's a very smart looking plane, isn't it?
It really is, isn't it?
There we go. Here comes the picture now, children, as Eoin starts the story.
The Airbus A380 Super Jumbo may be the next big thing in private jets, but the tiny Cirrus Vision Jet is the next game changer. At $1.96 million, the diminutive Cirrus is the most affordable private jet on sale today. In fact, it's about half the price of its nearest jet-powered competitor. The Vision Jet has been 10 years in the making. Cirrus Vice President of Marketing and Communications Ben Kowalski told Business Insider. The production model of the Vision Jet made its first flight in May 2016, and a few months later the aircraft was certified by the Federal Aviation Administration. The company is now ramping up production and deliveries. According to Kowalski, the Vision Jet's target markets are private owners and regional commercial air services. In addition, Cirrus says the Vision Jet is a natural progression for owners of the company's popular lineup of high-performance piston engine aircraft. And here's a closer look at the Cirrus Jet and its competitors. It really competes with like the VLJs.
It's splitting opinion in the chat room. I think for some reason I just think that's a really nice looking plane. I don't know where, but I know there's a couple of people in the chat room who are not quite so enamoured with this aircraft as perhaps everybody else here seems to be here in the studio and over in Bishop Stortford there. But
so this jet, the Cirrus Vision SF50.
Brace yourself, here come the stats, everyone.
This class is a very light jet, because it is a very light jet.
Doesn't seem to have an undercarriage even.
No, it's got one.
Has it?
So this first prototype of this aircraft
airbrushed it out.
Was in July 2008 actually, and first production aircraft was in May 2016 and went into production. Cirrus came into production in December 2016. And they've had 9 of these built so far, including the prototypes. And as Eoin was saying there, $1.96 million at list price for 2016, which no one ever pays list price, we know that. But specifications quickly on this. So it carries 6 people. It's 30 foot long, has a wingspan of 38 feet. And has a one engine. It has a Williams FJ33-58 turbofan, producing 1,800 pounds or 8 kilonewtons of thrust, and has a cruise speed. It jogs along at a cool 345 miles per hour, or 556 kilometres per hour. And if you want to know how high this aircraft can go, before we finish this bit, it's 28,000 feet. This aircraft has a service ceiling of. So there we go.
Marianne's just
it's also got the parachute and single pilot operations as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it does have the ballistic recovery system. Yeah, this one does. So
Marianne, does anybody else think that Matt has now officially become an AV geek?
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen, they have officially broken me. I have joined the club.
So the next story, moving on to the adsadvance.co.uk website. Exactly.
Okay.
And it's good news for anyone out there who's wishing to become a pilot. Ooh. So the EasyJet, our wonderful low-cost carrier here in the UK, is going to launch this year its largest ever pilot recruitment drive. So EasyJet are going to be launching the recruitment campaign at the beginning of next month. Called For the Love of Flying, to attract up to 450 new pilots in what will be the largest recruitment drive in the airline's history, an increase on the record 426 recruited last year. Opportunities range from cadet pilots. I'm going to just pat Matt there rather than punch him. Cadet pilots are starting their career to experienced pilots and captains from other airlines and the military. All will receive access to high quality training and a range of career development opportunities. EasyJet currently employs over 3,000 pilots, wow, that's a few, who fly more than 265 Airbus aircraft. Woohoo! On over 870 routes in 31 countries, and new recruits will join the airline at an exciting time of continued growth. In the coming year, EasyJet is creating new pilot positions at all of its bases. And in the UK, these are at London Gatwick, London Luton, that's Nev's favourite airport, London Stansted, London Southend.
If he were here now, he'd be punching you, right?
London Bristol, London Newcastle, London Glasgow, London Edinburgh, London Belfast, and London Manchester and London Liverpool Airport.
I love that. London Belfast. Yeah.
Around 300 of the new.
There's no political issues there at all. That's absolutely fine, Carlos. Let's gloss over that before.
Anyone who wants to pick up on that particular piece of funny commentary will have to go back a few episodes where we had a story about London airports.
Yes, indeed.
So around 300 of the new roles will be for cadet pilots, and there will be a particular focus on recruiting more female pilots. Yay! As part of EasyJet's Amy Johnson initiative. Captain Brian Tyrrell, EasyJet's head of flight operations, said that we are really pleased that we will be opening recruitment for up to 450 new EasyJet pilot positions in a couple of weeks' time. The story goes on about the Amy Johnson initiative, which is really awesome. You've got to look that one up if you haven't already done it. So it says here that about the Amy Johnson's initiative, that says here that only 3% of commercial airline pilots worldwide are female, and only 450 of them have achieved the rank of captain, which means every female captain could fit on an A380 aircraft. Wow.
That's a shame, really, actually.
Yeah, it is a big shame. Yeah. So encouraged by the success of the recruitment drive last year, EasyJet has now set itself a more stretching target, ensuring that 20% of new entrant cadet pilots recruited by EasyJet in 2020 are female. Based on current recruitment plans, this would mean that EasyJet would be recruiting around 50 female pilots a year, which will really start to change the face of the industry. This is a long-term strategy which we'll hope will eventually lead to EasyJet recruiting, retaining and developing many more female pilots.
Good.
So if you want to find out some more information about the candidate program and apply as well to EasyJet, if you go to careers.easyjet.com/pilots. If you go there, you'll be able to get on there and join the recruiting team and hopefully become a pilot.
Exclusive news, ladies and gentlemen. Ryanair mega summer sale has just begun. Quickly go on their website and get as many of them booked before it all crashes. And it usually seems to do every time they send out that
so
email.
The next story,
yes, the next story,
Matt, this is a big budget story for you.
It is, absolutely. It's travelandleisure.com is the website, and the story, and this involves my favourite entrepreneur, the legend that is Richard Branson, hints at starting a new US airline. So as if Virgin Atlantic wasn't successful enough, or has he sold it? Perhaps he sold it.
He's a sort of what they call it, a silent
silent partner, right? Anyway, the founder of Virgin America seems ready for a comeback. In an interview on Bloomberg TV last week, Virgin America founder Sir Richard Branson said that he was open to the idea of starting a new airline in the US, pending the outcome of a dispute with Alaska Airlines over how long it will pay royalties for the Virgin America brand it acquired last year. Alaska bought Virgin's US-based carrier this past December for $2.6 billion. Dollars. Yeah. They bought it in kebabs. So $2.6 billion. Then announced in March that it would be retired by 2019, which is a bit peculiar. Anyway, when asked if he would consider opening a new carrier in the US, Branson said, "Watch this space," which usually means yes. The Virgin founder indicated that Alaska Airlines should continue paying royalties unless we decide to start another airline. So we'll see what happens, Branson said in the televised interview. The Virgin founder said that he believes he should be paid royalties through till 2040. As the US airline industry grapples with overbooking, fewer flights and recurring labour issues, a new airline from Virgin would be a welcome addition to the market. Launched in 2007, the design-conscious Virgin America quickly became a preferred carrier for US flyers and was named by readers as the #1 domestic airline for Travel and Leisure's world's best airline for 9 years in a row. 9 years in a row, that's really good. After Alaska announced its intention to completely dissolve its beloved brand, the passionate entrepreneur published a goodbye love letter to employees and customers of Virgin America that quickly went viral. An excerpt: "To each of the brilliant teammates, I know that you will continue to do great things, whether you stay with Alaska or pursue a different path. Build a business that puts its people first. Work with partners who share the same progressive and inclusive values. Focus on delivering a great customer experience and success will come. Make business a force for good. Stay positive. Attitude is everything." I won't go on, obviously, because he's sort of basically reading the story. But I think it seems a bit crazy by Alaska Airlines to basically just retire a well-loved brand. That just doesn't make any financial sense at all, does it?
No, I think Richard Branson, if he puts his mind to it, which I'm sure he will do, he'll come up with another awesome airline.
He's got experience, hasn't he?
I mean, look how well Virgin done. You know, it still does very well here in the UK.
Does, absolutely. So, what's the difference between Virgin America and Virgin Atlantic?
It's an offshoot of Virgin.
Okay,
it's American run, and I think it's American owned and run.
Okay,
I'm right. I might not be 100% right there, but yeah.
Okay.
Virgin America is. It has. I don't know if it's won awards, but it is a very popular airline in the US. I think for people. So yeah.
So anyway, moving on to the final story. Then, Owen, this is with you.
Okay, so this is all about Norwegian, and it's from freshplaza.com. Where do you get these?
Oh, you've no idea.
Norwegian aircraft evacuated because of controversial fruit. A Norwegian airplane en route from Oslo Gardermoen to Evenes Airport was evacuated Thursday evening, reports Harstad Tiende. The reason was a suspicion of a gas leak from the cargo compartment.
Oh, wow.
However, there was certainly no gas leak, and the mistake was simply due to the presence of fruit which was taken on the plane by a passenger.
Nice.
Security always has the highest priority. The fire brigade was called, and it appeared the smell came from an Asian durian fruit,
Right.
which is completely harmless, stated Tonje Nace of Norwegian's press service in an email.
Okay.
The plane was able to reach its destination a little over half an hour late, and the Asian fruit durian is controversial because of its powerful smell. The fruit, also called stink fruit, has such a strong smell that it is forbidden for consumptions in hotels and other public places in some Asian countries.
Wow. Okay, so, the first question here for me is, if it smells as badly as it appears to, why on earth on earth would you eat it?
Apparently, according to Wikipedia, the Durio zebanthinus fruit apparently is incredibly nice to eat.
Despite smelling like sick.
Apparently, no. Apparently, it smells of rotten onions or raw sewage.
No.
Oh, great.
And apparently, according to Wiki as well, it says
by the sound of it.
Apparently it says as well that it smells whether you've taken the husk off or not. It just does not smell very nice. Good. And it has been, as Owen said, it's been banned in Southeast Asia from hotels, public transports, airlines as well. In Southeast Asia, banned the fruit from being on board the aircraft. But
consider this a public service announcement. People, do not bring
durian fruit,
because your flight will be delayed. Yes, absolutely.
I thought I'd chuck that one in at the end.
Yes. Well, had you nodded off? I mean, I know you've had quite a tough week because you haven't been very well either. But
no, I know.
Okay,
it's the effects of the sun, I think.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very quick break. Stop it. Yeah, I've forgotten how to do this whole presenting thing. All right, play nice. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I have missed you, Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about the only person that has.
Come on, everyone in the chat room has missed you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a very quick break. We'll be right back after these very short messages.
Find this and other great shows at the Aviation Media Network.
TheVoicesInYourHead.com. The Plain Talking UK podcast is a voluntary project that aims to keep you informed with the latest aviation-related stories from newswires across the globe.
Producing our content does cost money though. If you enjoy our show, why not help us keep on the air by making a donation towards the server and website hosting fees through PayPal. Any contributions would be greatly appreciated.
Are you an Amazon user? If so, why not do your shopping through the link on our website? There's no cost to yourself, and Amazon pay us a small referral fee on qualifying purchases.
To find out more about the show and to meet the team, take yourself to our website www.plaintalkinguk.com,
or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/plaintalkinguk, on Twitter via @plaintalkinguk, or get in touch via email on podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. Thanks for listening.
Flybe 5823, Trent Dane for 23 Manchester, Wizz Air 6X, climb flight level 210, direct to Bretman's Park. United 123, maintain 280 knots. London 2TME, turn right onto Bravo, link 21 join Alpha, hold at Mora, Speedbird 472, LOC/DME, approach runway 27 left. Follow the green stand 544.
That's enough air traffic control for today, Nat. Bedtime.
Aviation media has long been the domain of the newspapers and magazines.
Well, not anymore. I'm Steve Visscher.
And I'm Grant McCarran, and we're bringing aviation right into your radio.
Yes, we're making aviation cool and interesting for everyone.
Hang on, aviation's always been cool. Check this out.
How cool is this?
Grant, turn that down. Here at Plane Crazy Down Under, we've got pilots, engineers, air traffic controllers, industry leaders, even politicians dropping by to talk to us about the amazing world of aviation right here in Australia and occasionally New Zealand as well.
Wow, that's cooler than I thought, mate.
Find us at planecrazydownunder.com, on iTunes, or lurking about on other people's podcasts just like this one.
We've got crazy accents and lots of great aviation content.
And we promise not to talk about the cricket.
No, never. Not the cricket. Quack, 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 quack.
What is cricket anyhow? Something we win a lot. Oh, there. Oh!
So moving on then with our military news for this week, and this one is the first story then, and it's on the Lincolnite.co.uk site.
The what now?
The Lincolnite.
Okay.
The Lincolnite.
It's that publication that I cannot... Do you know, I simply cannot go to the toilet without it.
You can probably see that I've actually got a coat on now because it's a bit chilly here.
I am giving serious consideration to
I've got a coat here for Matt, so don't worry. I don't want you being ill next week, for God's sake. So he's putting his coat on. That's actually my work coat.
I'm not going to stand out like a... I'm going to go...
Oh, very nice.
I'm going to land some aircraft now, everyone. Here we go.
Yes, you could be a dispatcher.
Absolutely. Oh, dear.
So the story then is, as I said, on the Lincolnite.co.uk website, the headline, and it's a bit of an air show kind of theme, military theme this week. So the Royal Canadian Air Force to send the CF-18 Hornet fighter jet to Scampton Air Show.
They can see me from space now, everyone. Good news.
So the Royal Canadian Air Force will be sending one of its CF-18 Hornet fighter jets to the Scampton Air Show on the weekend of, pardon me, that beer, of September the 9th and 10th.
Oh, do you know, we were being so professional.
I know.
Professional show
terrible.
Here, yes.
Absolutely.
So
anyway.
the distinctive twin-engine fighter, a version of the FA-18 Hornet, produced by McDonnell Douglas and Boeing, is the backbone of the Canadian Air Force and will be one of the stars at the extensive static display at the air show. The show, which takes place at RAF Scampton, home of the Red Arrows, on the weekend of September the 9th and 10th, will feature up to 100 aircraft, both on and off the ground. Thousands of Canadian airmen were based in Lincolnshire during the war, serving within the Royal Air Force's Bomber Command, Coastal Command and Fighter Command. One unit, Flying Bombers 420 Squadron, was formed at RAF Wellington near Lincoln in December 1941 and flew more than 530 sorties in 8 months before transferring to Yorkshire, where the bulk of the RCAF bomber squadrons were based. Airshow director Paul Sall said the history between Lincolnshire and the Royal Canadian Air Force is undeniably strong, with many Canadian Air Force personnel based in the country through the Second World War. The connection with the RAF Scampton is particularly of note, with 30 members of the legendary 617 Dam Busters Squadron being Royal Canadian Air Force. To confirm, the Royal Canadian Air Force will be sending a CF-18 Hornet to be part of the inaugural Scampton Air Show. It's just magnificent and reinforces the long-standing relationship with Lincolnshire. You can go on to the Lincolnite.co.uk website where this story is. There is a link on there so you can buy tickets to the Scampton, RAF Scampton Air Show, which, as I said, happens on September the 9th and 10th this year. So, get yourselves over to there. Absolutely. Next story, moving on.
Indeed, yes. The next story, sorry, I was busy putting a picture up, so I couldn't have timed that more wrong. One moment, callers. Oh my God, now I've broken the browser. Oh, dear.
Whole can of worms there now.
Okay, anyway, yes, it's all right. Crisis averted, everyone. So the Gloucestershire Live website, that's the Gloucestershire Live website. I'm not drunk, I promise. I don't know what's the matter with me.
And this is another air show related military story.
Okay, yes. So the Royal International Air Tattoo, American aircraft will flock to the show to celebrate the US Air Force 70th anniversary. This is very exciting. Oh, it's the Osprey. It's a picture of the Osprey.
I know.
And I can't bring it up because I'm doing the story. Oh no. Visitors to this summer's Royal International Air Tattoo at RAF Fairford in the Cotswolds will be able to view one of the biggest gatherings of US military aircraft at a UK air show. Well, they should have come to Pitts. Anyway, in addition to the USAF display teams, the Thunderbirds, oh dear, Al, stay well away, Captain Al, from RAAF, because that could end badly. A B-1 and a B-52 bomber and a state-of-the-art F-22 fighter jet have already been revealed. The Americans have announced that many more exciting aircraft will be arriving at the airbase as the air show prepares to stage the biggest celebration of the US Air Force's 70th anniversary anywhere in Europe. The air show, which takes place on the 14th to the 16th of July, will also feature 2 CV-22B Ospreys whose unique tilt rotors enable them to fly like a helicopter or like a fixed wing aircraft. And if you seriously, guys, if you haven't seen one of these Ospreys we saw one last year, didn't we? Actually, at RIA, in action, is just the most mind-blowing thing. The aircraft, which is one of which will be in the flying program and the other on display in the static park, has been used as a special forces transport aircraft thanks to its impressive speed and manoeuvrability. Also confirmed for the static park will be 2 F-16C fighter jets from I want to say Spangdahlem Air Base in Germany, an MC-130J Commando 2 tactical transport and tanker aircraft based at RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk, used to transport special operations, and a massive C-17A Globemaster transport aircraft which will travel all the way from Charleston, South Carolina. Military patrol aircraft. Finally, the United States Navy will be showcasing the world's most capable maritime patrol aircraft, the Boeing P-8A Poseidon, on the ground at RAF Fairford. The aircraft is on order for the Royal Air Force, who will take delivery of their first example from 2019, based at RAF Lossiemouth in Scotland. Air Tattoo spokesman Richard said that the Air Tattoo enjoys a great relationship with the US military, which stretches back almost 4 decades. And over the years, this has resulted in some very, very memorable tributes, marking key milestones in the USAF's history. Earlier this year, the US military promised us their full support in marking their 70th anniversary, and now we're seeing them deliver. It's fantastic. The range of American military aircraft on display at the Air Tattoo is going to be awesome, and there's still more to be added. The Air Tattoo is staged annually at RAF Fairford in support of the RAF Charitable Trust. To view prices and closure options, visit airtattoo.com. All accompanied under 16s are admitted free of charge. Also, free parking.
I like that.
Indeed, yes.
And
you're not able to make it this year, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the time off, but the way it looks at the moment, 14th is one that I can possibly get off. 15th is not possible to take off, and 16th is possible to take off. So I'm trying to work out.
Well, gentlemen,
how
it sounds like we all need to have a little
15th.
chat after the show. By the sound of it, we need to have a long chat after the show, I think, because I was originally going to go to Latitude, but that ain't happening now. So anyway, yes, we'll gloss over that. So,
so the last story, and this is one especially for our Australian listeners. So, Eoin, if you want to take this one.
This is from shepherdmedia.com, and it's all about maritime security. The RAAF P-8A assists in civilian search and rescue mission. The Royal Australian Air Force's new Poseidon P-8A aircraft has assisted in a search and rescue operation approximately 50 kilometres south of Mount Gambier, Victoria. The RAAF announced on May 17th. During a training mission from its RAAF base in Edinburgh in South Australia, the P-8A Poseidon intercepted a mayday call from a distress vessel, in the MV Port Princess on the 16th of May 2017. Port Princess was taking on water with 4 crew on board.
Oh, blimey.
The P-8A assisted the rescue of the vessel's captain and crew by providing communications assistance and relaying real-time imagery of the event to Rescue Coordination Centre in Canberra. This is the first search and rescue response completed by the P-8A Poseidon since the aircraft's arrival in Australia in November 2016, and the aircraft is still undergoing test and evaluation activities before formal introduction into service. So that's very, very good news that those guys were rescued safe. And thanks to the
P-8. We saw one of these. We saw one of these at Farnborough. Actually, they had one of these at Farnborough.
Yes,
if you remember,
they did,
on a static display.
And they had one at Pitts, no, as well. I'm fairly sure.
Yes,
I saw pictures of
because Brian, Brian interviewed some of the guys from the Poseidon. But just for those of you who may not know, the P-8A Poseidon, based on the Boeing 737. And next gen aircraft.
Yawn.
And if you want to go and buy one of these, take out a big loan, you can buy one of these. Apparently, a flyaway cost of $125 million. You can go and buy one of these for.
Lovely.
Currently operated by, as Owen said, the Royal Australian Air Force, the Indian Navy, and the United States Navy. And I do believe the Royal Air Force here in the UK have got some of these on order as well.
Have they?
Yeah, I think they've finally decided to, because we haven't actually got any maritime patrol aircraft in the UK.
Oh, and I thought they thought that might be a problem, did they?
Yeah,
finally.
we could do with some kind of...
Even Ireland have maritime patrol aircraft.
Oh, I know. So there we go. That's the last in the military story. So we've got, before we close up and wrap up the show, yes, Matt, can I help you?
Yeah, no, it's all right. What we're going to do now then, we're going to do...
we've got some feedback,
we've got some feedback that we're going to play out now. We hand the show over now. Interestingly, a nice little interview that we're about to enjoy. And that was done by one of our very excellent listeners, and that was, now, what was it? It was the Wings-Over-Illawarra air show. And, in fact, actually, Matt, take it away.
G'day guys, Matt coming to you from Wings-Over-Illawarra. I'm currently with Steve from Plane Crazy Down Under. Now, what are you doing here?
Well, we're doing commentary. I'm not doing commentary right now, obviously.
No.
We're doing the commentary. Grant's actually over there now with Peter Anderson having a go. So yeah, we spend a lot of time these days doing regional air shows, the commentary. So not so much podcasting these days, but it's kind of led onto this, so it's good.
It is good. So what air shows have you done this season?
Well, we've done the Barossa Valley Air Show, we did the Kyneton Air Show recently, and we've also done the Hunter Valley Air Show. So we're getting around. It's really important to really keep the air show scene, the local air show scene going, because it's grassroots aviation.
Absolutely.
Where everybody starts, and we promote that. So companies like Paul Bennett Air Shows, particularly, who we do a fair bit of work for, they're really getting out there and promoting it. So very, very important, and it leads on to bigger events like this one. So who knows? Maybe one day we'll get Avalon or Farnborough or something like that.
Well, Avalon's definitely a good stepping stone, and it's certainly a fantastic place to have an air show. It's really good to see here a lot of families and a lot of young kids. As you're talking about grassroots, we've got the Scouts movement here. We've got the guys ferrying kids around the country who need operations. So it's one of those things where this platform's given an awesome opportunity for companies that are dealing in grassroots aviation.
Yeah, well, it's what
to get a bit of.
It's what it's all about, and particularly in this part of the world where it's quite a small niche, and we see a worldwide shortage of pilots. Well, we see that really amplified here a lot, I think. So it's really important that we always get out there, and particularly those of us that work in the media and work around that sort of area of aviation. It's almost our responsibility, really, to get out there and promote it. It is something affordable and it is something achievable, and that's really what we're trying to push. So yeah, it is when you see people like the Air League and the cadets out here and all those sort of organisations, it's really encouraging to see. And there's a lot of aviation history here in the Illawarra region, so
absolutely
you see that sort of coming through. A lot of these groups are quite active, so it's a good thing.
Well, it's fantastic. We've got Haas here in Illawarra, and they've got some fantastic examples of some classic aircraft, both built here and overseas.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, of course. Well, of course, you come in here to Illawarra and you've got OJA, the 747 that was retired, that landed here rather famously.
Yes.
Never to leave again, obviously.
No. Bit short for that,
but of course, we've seen the Neptune up this morning, and they've got all sorts of aircraft there. So, if you're in this part of the world, if you're coming over from the UK or anywhere else,
definitely
you've got to put this on your list.
And that 747 is a world record holder, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. Now, what is the record? You have to remind me, because I remember it went to the UK, I think, non-stop.
No, it flew from. Now, someone out there in the AvGeek community is going to probably.
I should know this, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Where's Grant when I need him? Where is that guy? It was the 400 series 747 when they came out. That was quite a big step up in technology.
Massive,
in terms of fuel efficiency and range. I think OJA was quite instrumental. Set quite a few records early on.
It did.
It came into service. Aircraft, I think, in the late 80s came into service.
From memory, I think it was flying from Heathrow to Sydney to Kingsford Smith in 17 and a half hours. Non-stop.
Would have been rather fragrant in there, I think, when they landed, wouldn't you think?
I tell you what, I don't know who was on cooking the meals, but
yeah. Well, of course, now you've got Qantas now talking about flying their Dreamliners when they get them from Perth to London non-stop. So if they do that, the only problem they're going to have, of course, is Perth's about a 5-hour flight away from the east coast, where everybody lives. So.
Exactly right. I heard it's actually a connecting flight from Melbourne to Perth, then to LHR.
Yeah.
That's a long flight.
I think I'd rather do the standard these days, which is just sort of Melbourne, Dubai, London. So
Yeah. That's you have a bit of a break and stretch the legs.
Having said that, I've never been to London, so maybe those rich podcasters over there at PT UK could sponsor me over there.
Yeah, or maybe.
Come on, guys, I don't eat much. Actually, that's not true. I do eat a lot, actually.
Hey, come on soon, Ev. I'm sure you've got some connections there with British Airways.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
So we've got another day and let's say another day and a half here at the air show to go, and tomorrow I think it culminates with the C-17 doing a flyover or something in the afternoon.
Oh, look, the RAF are full of surprises, of course. RAF base Richmond, where a lot of those aircraft stage out. I was not that far from here, and they've got Willitown as well. The RAF and the Navy, of course, got
Albatross.
Yeah, Albatross. So that Nowra is not that far away, so a lot of the helicopters are here. So great, defence. It's a big area for them too. So C-17s or whatever they decide to bring. I'm hoping they bring the C-27J actually, and I hope they do a barrel roll in it like the crazy Italian test pilots did when they were trying to flog those things a few years ago. I don't think that'll happen, mind you. Whatever they put on here at Wings-Over-Illawarra, Mark and Kerry Brightly, they worked tirelessly this for 2 years. A year in advance to put this on.
It's a massive effort, and I tell you what, it is an absolutely beautiful location. You've got the backdrop of the hills behind the back of the airport, and you're only like minutes away from the beach. And Shell Harbour and Wollongong area is just a magnificent part of Australia. And personally, I must say, if anyone out there in the wide world who loves aviation, you've got to get on that plane. It's going to be a long-haul flight no matter which way you look at it.
Well worth it.
Well worth it.
And listen to Plane Crazy Down Under while you're at it.
Hey, that was a great episode, by the way, your first Avalon.
Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Probably ought to get busy and put the second one out now I think about it.
Well, we look forward to hearing it, and I know you guys are busy with this stuff, and it's continuing to get busier, and we really do appreciate what you guys do bring to the worldwide podcasting network and bringing Australian aviation to the world.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been a great 8-year journey, and we've been halfway around the world and back with it, so it's been fun, and I'm glad that people enjoy it. So.
Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
Oh, well, massive thanks to you, Mr. Bunting-Frame.
Wow, literally
that was very, very good.
The hardest man in the entire world to get on. I'm not joking, guys. I mean, Grant is he's usually pretty flexible. He'll come on the show. But the one guy from the amazing, if you haven't listened to it, where have you been? Get yourselves over there. Listen to Plane Crazy Down Under. It is an incredible podcast, and you are honestly, it's a real treat for the ears. You are missing it out. I mean, the production values in it are brilliant. They go to a lot of trouble to make a really good quality podcast.
Steve and Grant are like air show royalty.
They are.
If an air show hasn't got Steve and Grant commentating,
it's a rubbish air show. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a good air show. Yeah, absolutely.
So well done to you, Matty Bunting-Frame. Well
brilliant
done.
Show more of that, please.
Yeah. And I can actually say that MBF was wearing his PTUK T-shirt during the Wings-Over-Illawarra air show.
Our official correspondent in Australia. Yes, absolutely.
And also obviously thanks to Steve as well from PCDU. And get yourselves over to iTunes and download.
And yes, in answer to your question, Steve, the minute either of us win the lottery, we will have you over here, business class.
Business class?
Oh yes.
Oh, he's going first class.
No.
Business is like
no. Let's not
economy.
spoil it. Like economy.
Okay.
Whatever.
Posh economy.
How have you been travelling?
Yeah, because of
Excuse me, Mr. Air, and I travel in premium economy with Air Canada.
Well, yes, indeed, yes. Okay, anyway,
right.
So you've got a little bit of air show news that you just want to cover before we wrap up?
Before we wrap up the show, then we have got just a smidgen of some air show news to bring you. So on the air show circuit, coming up for this, the next couple of months, I think we could say this is the next couple of months on the air show circuit. Yeah. So we have got a few air shows happening in and around the UK. For those of you who are in the UK, who can join us.
Saturday the 27th of May, which obviously is this weekend, isn't it? You've got the Sky Live. You've got the Sky Live air show. That's at Durham Tees Valley Airport, County Durham. And that's the May Bank holiday sees the return of the much loved air show at Teesside. A fun-packed day for the whole family. After 26 years, the air show is back with an exciting mix of jet-propelled thrills, followed by an evening of live music.
So on the 27th and 28th of May, that's Saturday and Sunday here in the UK, we've got the Duxford Air Festival.
Oh, yeah.
At the Royal Imperial War Museum at Duxford, and they've got it's a huge lineup of aircraft they've got there participating. If you go over to the Imperial War Museum website, Duxford website, they'll have the list of all the aircraft that are going to be on show during that particular air show. And like I said, that is on the 27th and 28th of May.
Indeed, yeah. We'll skip over into June, really. In the beginning part of June, we've got the Aero Expo UK.
Matt, you missed one there. You missed a big one.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, 28th of May. This one is quite a good one to go to. Hopefully, I'm going to see if Matt can make this one. I'm going to see if I can make this one as well. We're going to try and get over there.
What, this Sunday?
Oh, is it this Sunday, the 28th?
Yes, it's this Sunday,
perhaps not this Sunday then.
That's why I moved on.
So this Sunday, we're not going to be able to make this one.
No, I don't think we are.
On
but
Sunday the 28th,
yeah.
It's the Cold War Jets Open Day. That's at Bunting-Thorpe Proving Ground in Lutterworth, Leicestershire.
Yeah.
That's always a good one to go to. So they've got
another
one later on in the year.
Yeah,
so we're going to try and make
stick that in the diary. And we'll do that.
Next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're at just do a couple in June really, but you've got the Aero Expo UK 2017. That's the Wickham Air Park, High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire. Whether you are an experienced pilot or just have a passion for aviation, the Aero Expo UK is the exhibition to attend in 2017. That runs from Thursday the 1st of June to Saturday the 3rd.
And another really, really good one here, we'll make this the last one for the UK for June. This one's on the 3rd and 4th of June, Saturday and Sunday, the Torbay Air Show. That's in Torbay in Devon.
Yeah, Paynton.
And it's completely free.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
If you take yourselves over to allthews.air-shows.org, so it's the flight line. Actually, if you just go to Google and Google Flightline UK, there's an air show link on there.
Yeah.
Look on there, and there actually is a huge page on their website that shows you the aircraft and the time slots for Saturday and Sunday for the aircraft that are going to be going through there, which it also includes the Red Arrows and also the Pitts S1 Special.
Yeah.
And also on the Sunday they've got the Jet Provost T1 as well, which is also a good one to see. And a special one for Micah on the Saturday at the Torbay Air Show. Between 4 and 5 in the evening, they're going to have the consolidated PBY 5A Catalina.
Oh wow, the lovely
flying.
Catalina.
So a good one for Micah there. So get yourselves over to on the 3rd and 4th of June over to the Torbay Air Show in Devon.
If you're not aware of it already, actually, guys, seriously, www.air-shows.org.uk is a great site. It'll give you all the forthcoming aviation and military shows as well. I mean, we didn't read it out, but there was a show there that really grabbed my interest, which was like sort of militaria and tanks and things like that. So there's some great stuff there.
There's one down there on the 1st and 2nd of July on Saturday and Sunday, and this one is really kind of suits PT UK and all the listeners. This is the Shobden Food and Flying Festival.
Ah, now we're talking.
The Captain
Al, where are you?
Air Show.
Yeah, it's the Captain Al
I have no idea where this is, but it's in the Herefordshire. I can't.
Okay, we'll find it. I think we should find it and make sure we attend. That's it. We'll make sure we'll take Captain Al with us, because if we're going to a food and aviation related air show,
there's
he will be
a food
furious.
stand, vintage cars, steam engines, and lots more, as well as air displays and ground-based aviation attractions.
Don't mention the word steam. I shall get very excited. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we have to wrap up the show.
We certainly do.
Indeed.
So thanks to everyone who's joined us in the chat room live this evening for the show. Massive amount of names in there. We just haven't got the time to read them all out. But thank you to everyone who has joined us in the chat room. They're all still chatting between themselves now.
Love it.
And also a massive thank you to Matthew Bunting-Frame, obviously, for sending in that
feedback.
awesome bit of feedback. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
And hopefully next week we'll have a segment from the legend that is Pilot Pip.
Fingers and toes all crossed with knots tied in places on a warm day.
Good. And so it leaves us just to say a big thank you to Owen for coming on the show and joining us this week again.
Thanks
everyone's favourite flight attendant.
Everyone's favourite harp jet person. Yes, you are.
Absolutely, indeed.
Big hugs from everyone in the chat room to you as well.
Right.
Oh, big hugs right back, guys.
So that's it then for episode 166 of the show. Don't forget to look on Facebook and find us on Facebook and also Twitter at Plane Talking UK. Look for us on there. And also, if you download the show via iTunes, which I do as myself, actually, I download the show from. Yeah, I do. Yeah, have to admit, I do. If you download the show,
you haven't had enough after you've.
I know.
Okay.
If you download the show via iTunes.
Oh,
please
dear.
take yourselves over to the little ratings bar where you can click on the starry thing, and you can click on the star and say, you know, how much you hate me and Matt. Or you can say how much you hate me and Matt and love Owen.
That's also fine, and that's frankly what we expect. So make sure you do that, ladies and gentlemen. Do that immediately.
So don't forget to check out our Facebook and Twitter page for when we're going to be on next, which will probably be next Friday again.
I dare say.
For episode 167 of the show. So that leaves me just to say a massive thanks again to everyone for joining us this evening, and hope you all have a fantastic bank holiday weekend.
Yes, Bank Holiday Monday, innit?
Yeah,
Oh,
bank holiday.
splendid.
No work till Tuesday.
Let me guess, it's going to rain lots.
It's going to rain Monday.
Yeah, of course it is. It's the UK. It
The
rains on Bank
forecast
Holiday
is
Mondays.
rubbish for Monday, as per usual.
Yeah, indeed.
So from me, Carlos, it is a massive sunny, hopefully, and hope you'll all have a
still
fantastic
clear skies. It's just a
weekend.
bit chilly now.
And from you, Mr. Smith?
Yes, I made it through a whole show. That's very exciting without any kind of diplomatic incident. So great news. That is yes, and thanks for the lovely messages from everyone, guys. I really appreciate that. Yes, and we're almost back to full health, and I'm glad it's over.
And thank you for the kind words in the chat
Definitely
room.
appreciated.
Very kind
to have you back.
Yeah, some kind words in the chat room. We do love our chat room people, don't we? They're so lovely. So that's it then. Owen, last words from you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all again soon.
So that's it then.
Pleasure,
Take
mate.
care, everyone.
From all of us here, let's say goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.